Hey guys, in this episode of Bat Van, I'm going to show you how I made a Miles Morales Into the Spider-Verse t-shirt. This was once just a plain black t-shirt, and now look at it. Transformed into Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse. Let me show you how I made it.
So to start off, these are the materials I use for it. And basically what I'm going to start with is I'm going to cut out the logos. For the logos, I just found something perfectly round and the perfect size as well. And I just found this bowl, and doing this, I just traced around it. See that little piece there? I used that to go around evenly. Draw the circle there, 4 points there, and I just drew the logo in as best I could. Then I just cut it out. I also just had a logo before from some crappy vinyl, so I'm just gonna use that already. Then I just bought this good iron-on vinyl from Hobby Lobby. Using that, I'm gonna put my trace cutouts around it, and then I'm just gonna cut those out, and now I have two perfectly cut logos. And what I'm gonna do is, for my shirt, I'm gonna like fold it in half, iron it down so I can get kind of a crease right there in the middle to center it. And I'm gonna send the logos there. And then I'm just gonna iron it on and peel it off. And then that's how I get the logos. I'm gonna do the same process for the back. And now I got just a black t-shirt with two Spider-Man logos on it. Put it on my little brother because it's for him. And I'm also gonna use him as like my mannequin to draw the outlines. The outlines, I'm just gonna take a chalk marker, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by like just tracing a center line down the middle. That's gonna be like the center web basically on this shirt. And I'm also gonna like trace outlines around the belt area of the webs, the sides, down the chest, down the torso. Like basically just outlining where the webs end, how far they're gonna go out. And I'm also going to try to trace the shapes of the red shoulders as well, since his suit has the red shoulders. I feel like it'd be better if I just drew them too, so that I know exactly how big to make them when the time comes. So yeah, basically just use my little brother, going all the way around on the back too. The belt, like the web belt, as we see on most Spider-Man suits. Let's make my way towards the back there. And I'm also going to try to get a center line on the back as well. And also just trace the red shoulders on the back as well, there. Up the middle and the top. Just trying to get as much as I can for the perfect placement and the perfect size of the webs and the red shoulders. Sometimes you might go over it again because you decide you don't like what you draw at first. But yeah, eventually I'm just going to get to where I like. Just try to go over it again. And sometimes maybe you might even try to wash off the extra lines just so you don't accidentally get them confused when you go to paint the webs or cut out the shapes or anything. But yeah, I did try to just wash them off and go over them again so I know exactly what I want when the time comes. As you see the wet stains there, they'll dry up. But yeah, I did just try to wash them off and go over them again so I just don't get them confused or anything, and I know exactly where I want them. And once I did that, I just moved on to the red shoulders. For red shoulders, I just found this like nice textured red fabric from Hobby Lobby. First thing I did with them was I tried to just place them over where I drew the red line, where I drew the lines for the red shoulders. And I tried to cut them out, but that wasn't really good because I don't even know where I'm cutting. So I tried that the first time. Just tried to cut them out as best I can over that line I drew. Basically, I just tried to like cut around the shape of the shirt section that it's on. And I just tried to like lift up the cuts, lift up the folds or whatever to see those lines better. You see, like I just folded them up, try to see if I can line it up perfectly with that line at an angle. Try to like just basically trace the line on the red fabric. then I just cut it out. Just try to get it as best as I can to the front there. Then I just did the same for the back, except I didn't just try to cut it out. I actually just tried to place a wire over the line, and then I just put the fabric down, which was definitely much easier in getting the right shape and knowing exactly where to trace and where to cut. So yeah, I definitely recommend doing it like that. It's way easier. You just put something under it like a string so you know exactly where to cut. And then I just have mostly a good cutout section of the back. And I also tried to just line the front piece with it as well to make sure it's the same size. I feel like it's definitely better if you do 2 separate pieces, because I feel like it definitely makes it form fit around the shirt that way, since the sleeves are like going down at an angle. But yeah, basically using a wire, I actually got a better shape that way, more like perfectly fitted shape. And to put them together, I noticed that one of them is definitely a little more wider, so I just put them together, cut it down a little short, and I'd see if they fit well. Just try as best I can to go over it again until it was perfect to me. And then when I got like a good front and back piece, I was able to just like reverse it on more red fabric and get like the second pieces for the other side of the shoulders. I tried to mark where like it's facing up and down vertically, so I know where to place it. And then now I got 2 pieces, front and back, on each side. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna line them up and put them together, sew them together at the top. And I got 1 shoulder piece for both sides, like here. For the start, I'm gonna mark it where on like the edge of the sleeve and the edge of the shoulders, where I'm gonna place them at the top of the shirt, because that'll help it stay into place better. Like you see those lines I marked there, the top of the shirt, the edge of the sleeve. Like, see, I got it in place right here now, because that'll help me like pin it in place better to sew onto the shirt. That's why I do that, because it definitely helps it stay into place easier. And then see, I got one down, and I got the other.
Alright guys, so here's the shirt with the red shoulders so far now. And yeah, it's still got a bit of chalk on it when I try to clean it off a bit, but I'm getting to that in a bit. But yeah, for now, this is the red shoulders. Now let's get to the webs.
Web of Shadows. You know, that's such a great Spider-Man game. Why can't we not get a remaster? That's literally the best Spider-Man game in my opinion. Anyway, back to the webs. When we get to drawing the webs, I basically like go to this website called Sketchfab that has like 3D models of like characters and whatever. Using this, I went off to reference to draw the webs. Basically, I drew half of them at first. And then what I can do is the other side, I can just like use measurements to make sure they're perfectly symmetrical, like from the center line. But it's one inch over from the center line, 1 inch dot over, 2 inches, 2 inches over. Like I can do that as you keep seeing here. Just keep making my way down or across. Just keep making my way across the Spider-Verse there, drawing the webs, measuring. Definitely easier to help get perfectly symmetrical webs. I just keep doing that across and across, again and again, until I get all the webs. I start at the belt there. Definitely get a perfectly symmetrical belt so far. It helps. The arms are easy. I can just put them next to each other so easily. And then yeah, I get webs there. And that's how I definitely drew the webs. Sketchfab.com, remember it. For painting, that's easy. I just use metallic black puff paint. You can use whatever. I mean, silver, black, just regular black, but I like metallic. I feel like that'll give it the best look. And I just went over all the webs with it. Simple process, kinda. But after that, it was done.
Alright guys, so this is my homemade custom Into the Spider-Verse t-shirt. Frankly, I love this thing a lot. This is really cool to me. Metallic black paint, better than silver paint like I used last time in this past video here. And it's just like, yeah, I definitely dig this. This is definitely a really cool, like, it's not the classic version of Miles Morales like you see in the Insomniac games, but this is definitely a cool concept. Especially him just having like webs that you only see when there's light shine on them. Really cool. and I definitely love the graffiti look. Someone once pointed out this logo looked like a basketball, and I can't unsee it. And honestly, that's a cool detail. Actually fits really well. Such genius. And back logo 2, also graffitied. Although I don't know how he managed to keep such good straight little lines. I guess it's possible. I don't know. I don't use spray paint. But yeah, this is definitely a great suit from a great movie. Into the Spider-Verse. Let me know. Do you love it more than Across? Do you think it's not as good as Across? Is it better? I mean, I don't know. I always love to hear people's opinions. Personally, I definitely love Across more than Into. That's just my opinion, though. Please don't hate me. And I definitely cannot wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse, man. 2027 needs to come faster. But until then, I have Into the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse t-shirt now. But yeah, that was my tutorial on how I made this really cool shirt. Okay, guys, that was my Into the Spider-Verse t-shirt. Really love that shirt. Happy to have it. It's actually from my little brother, though. I mean, he's the one that loves Miles Morales. Don't get me wrong, I love Miles Morales too. I mean, you know, you see in my past videos, I really love the Prowler, but yeah, that's the shirt I made for him actually. And yeah, I would definitely like to know your opinions on the Spider-Verse movies in the comments, please. I definitely love to hear other people's opinions, really. I like to share my opinions. I want people to share their opinions. Please.